The last video I made was literally about how the US criminal justice system takes time, but I do agree with this person. It's wild to me how somebody can just sit in jail without any future hearings or trials or anything scheduled. Because right now, that is what's happening with Timothy Hickerson. And we talk about it in this week's episode of the podcast, which is an update on the case of Shane Donahue. Shane Donahue was last seen in Nokesville, Virginia with his friend Tim Hickerson in March of 2010. The pair went to Shane's parents' house after doing a job together, and Tim was supposed to drop Shane off at home, but Shane was never seen again. Obviously, since Tim was the last person to see Shane, he's long been a person of interest. And finally, 14 years after Shane was last seen, Tim was arrested in Florida and is awaiting extradition to Virginia, except he's still in Florida, still awaiting extradition. There's been a lot of legal wrangling, but as of today, which is October 23rd, Tim Hickerson has been sitting in a Florida jail for over 1 month, and there are no hearings on the docket either in Florida or Virginia. So we get into all of it in this week's episode of the podcast, including what Tim Hickerson's possible defense could be, because from what it sounds like, he is not admitting to anything and will be fighting the charge of homicide in relation to Shane Donahue. So listen to this week's episode. If you need to catch up with the full story, we also re-released our original 2020 episode on Shane Donahue's case. So take a listen, let me know what you think. I will be covering this case because it is local to us. So whenever Tim Hickerson does end up back in Virginia, I will be attending the hearings. But yeah, it's wild that somebody can just be sitting there with nothing on the docket.